Let's turn our attention to the Kenyan market and check in on how the overall market closed on this Friday session. As you can see, slipping back after the bounce yesterday, down by 0.2% at 4,588 points. And checking in on how the currency is faring against the dollar, 87.3 right now. And you're looking at the shilling clawing back some of those losses against the greenback. Well, let's cross over to Nairobi and get an update on how the Kenyan market has fared for the day. Geoffrey Maina, research analyst at Old Mutual Securities, is standing by. Geoffrey, thanks so much for joining us. So just give us your views right now on what we've seen from the market this week, because it has almost been one day up, one day down. And is there direction in the market? Do you sense from a kind of top level view?
Thanks for having me over. Today we've seen the market sort of normalized from yesterday's boom, with the NSE closing at 45.88, representing an upside of 0.6% from yesterday's close of 45.61. And in today's gain, as we had National Bank closing at 18.85, representing an upside of around 3.75. This is in line with the bank, with the banking sector's expected earnings release sometime later this month or early next month, with the banking sector as a whole expected to have a good earnings outcome.
So which of the stocks are you most bullish on right now? I mean, talking about National Bank, that of course is the top gainer in the banking sector for the day. It was up 3.5%. But overall, from your perspective, I mean, which stocks do you hold in the Old Mutual portfolio?
For us, we expect the banking sector as a whole to have a good earnings outcome. NBK, just to mention some but a few, we have National Bank of Kenya, Barclays Bank and Equity, which they're expected to do their earnings release sometime this month, and even KCB. KCB, it's been one of the active counters in the market and very consistent as a mover since the beginning of the year. And it's in our opinion that the banking sector as a whole will do good.
I mean, what type of earnings growth are you talking about right now?
Pardon?
What type of earnings growth are you anticipating from the banks this year?
The earnings growth from the bank, we expect KCB and Equity to have a double-digit growth in their earnings. Even Barclays, we expect that it will have a double earnings growth. And the banking sector as a whole, compared to whatever they had for the previous period, this year it's expected, it's been a tough year for them, but they expected to have double earnings digit growth.
One of the stocks that the market's anticipating results from next week is the East African breweries. And now the thoughts are that you're going to see moderate top-line growth, and that volume growth is going to be pretty much around the 10% level. What are your thoughts on that? And then that relative to subdued bottom-line growth is what everyone's expecting right now, because they have been investing quite a lot over the period.
East African breweries, it has had a lot of foreign investor interest. Since the beginning of the year, the stock has been appreciating, and even as out of close of today's business, it closed at 307 shillings. We've seen investors taking position in the company towards in preparation for the earnings release sometime next week. EABL, it's also expected to post good results, and that's why we've seen key foreign interest in the brewers stock as a whole.
So foreigners driving up that stock. What about Sasini Tea? It was on the losers list today, one of the top losers, settling at around 11 shillings 60 cents for the day. But where do you stand in the agricultural space in a company like this that, of course, has a lot of real estate and many still wanting value to be released from that?
For Sasini today, it was one of the losers in the market. In the agricultural sector as a whole, this week it has had a sluggish investor activity. We've seen Sasini today dropping, And the company, they've been trying to diversify from coffee and tea. Right now, they're even into milk processing. This is just to help them build on their revenue streamlines. So for Sasini, maybe in future, when in the near future, when they'll be doing their earnings release, we expect the company's we expect that the company's results will be encouraging, given that they've diversified into milk processing also.
Let's talk about one of the positive developments outside the markets. The President, Mwai Kibaki, at the groundbreaking ceremony today for the new Isiolo International Airport. Talk to us about what this means for the area, Isiolo, and what that broadly means, I suppose, for infrastructure development and investment in the country right now.
Isiolo is being positioned as the tourism hub for northern Kenya. This is in line with the Vision 2030 that the country is currently undertaking. Isiolo has a good investor prospect, given that with the groundbreaking of the airport building in Isiolo, it's helped to try and spur investor interest in northern Kenya. We expect, even currently, the government in conjunction with the Ethiopian government, they are building a road to connect Kenya with Ethiopia on the northern side, and it's expected to open up the northern side of Kenya to help in spurring economic growth for the country as a whole.
So certainly a good development there, Geoffrey.
Pardon?
Certainly a good development there when it comes to growth and infrastructure.
To Isiolo?
Yes. Well,
Isiolo, at the moment, Isiolo at the moment, it doesn't have much investor activity because it is on the arid side of the country, the northern side of the country where it's arid. So the government, that's why the government is trying to strategically place the town as a tourism hub for the northern side of Kenya, to try and attract investors to the northern part of the country. And even with the recent oil exploration in the areas, we expect that this will be able to open up the northern part of Kenya to more economic activities.
Certainly is placing it in the right hub if that oil and gas sector does take off. But thanks so much for that, Geoffrey Maina, research analyst at Old Mutual Securities.